Hi YouTube, it's your grandma V here, back for a mukbang, and we have poke today. So I know there's tuna in here, 3 different other types of poke. It's a poke spicy bowl, so jalapenos, spicy tunas in there, some wasabi, and the base is half salad, half brown rice. And then right here we have some seaweed salad with sesame seeds on top of there. I love seaweed salad. And then this is a new salad that they have. So it's like cucumber. It's kind of watery. I don't know if it's because of the cucumber juice or I just need to pour out whatever that liquid is. But it's some cucumber and sesame sauce in some house vinegar and what is that, shrimp and octopus in there. Octopus is cooked and so is the shrimp. You can just tell by the color of it. Just grabbing my napkin here, and we have a special guest today. Meet my plant. It's supposed to be a hard to kill plant because I'm still working on my green thumb, and it's very good for indoors. We have my coconut candle here that I don't have the heart to light yet because it's just so pretty. It's like crystals on, it's like a shiny top coat. And then we have my little meditating skeleton there, and my daughters have named this skeleton Honey. That was the first name that popped out of their mouth. And so yeah, and the reason why I have these things today is because y'all, the Bay Area, and I'm sure a lot of other places, are going through a lot with COVID and wildfires. But today in particular, I'm gonna prepare my wasabi. So I'm gonna put soy sauce and wasabi in here while I'm talking. So yeah, so today's quite different. So yesterday, the sky was kind of foggy. You could tell there was some smoke in the air due to the wildfires. You know, hopefully it gets contained, and my hearts go out to some families. Some of my coworkers were saying that their friends have lost, you know, their homes in Oregon due to the fires. And yeah, and it's hard, I know, with people who have you know, first responders like police, paramedics, and firefighters, you know, trying to help battle this. It's hard. And so, but today I woke up to a bunch of dings from, you know, people chatting on our work chat, and they're like, is it red outside? And I was like, what are they talking about? And I was like, I like looked through my curtains and I was like, oh, there's not that much light outside. It's like 7 o'clock. There should be a lot of light right now. And kind of look outside, that it's like this haze. You know, if you have like the brown lens sunglasses, that's what it looks like outside. Like, I keep on wanting to wipe my eyes and like see the sun, but it's not. It's like, it's not even foggy. It's like this really like tortoiseshell brown, light tortoiseshell brown shade outside. No peak of sun. Let me show y'all the craziness going on in the Bay Area with the weather today. Well, not weather, but the smoke. So if you guys can see, it's a lot darker in person, but there's like a red haze. It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's actually a lot more clear now than it was in the morning. But anyways, let's get back to the mukbang. I have brought my plants, my candles, and my meditating skeleton to this party for the fact that haven't seen sun. It's kind of weird. Feel like I'm in some type of sci-fi show, movie. So yeah, these are the things that are gonna help me keep grounded to get through this weird day. We just finished a really hot weekend. Like, it was a heat wave. Oakland was hitting the hundreds, which is crazy. And so seeing the sun and then, you know, a few days later not seeing the sun makes you realize, count your blessings while you have them. So that is my one thing I'm going into today. Hope you guys are all doing well. I know it's a hard time. People, you know, are out of work or working from home, and, you know, shout out to those parents or single, especially single parents who are trying to function with their kids in the remote learning, because y'all, I don't know how you're keeping kindergartens engaged, because it's all hands-on, you know, kindergarteners and even first graders. I feel like up until third grade, you're not fully independent. I don't even think third grade you're fully independent, but I think third grade is where you're like, okay, you can do some independent study and you don't really need anyone to like guide you so much. But kindergarten to second grade, you know, kudos to those folks. To the kids, the teachers, and the parents dealing with all that. So yes, I'm gonna have a bite, y'all. Again, if y'all see my Hawaii video of poke, it's always ruined my current idea of poke in the US, or not in the US, but in the mainland. Yeah, I mean, you could just tell. Obviously, the fish is not super fresh. I definitely need. It's not spicy enough. I'm gonna pour some of this soy sauce and wasabi mixture into there. Got my ginger here. So yeah, it's some interesting times, y'all. Ooh, hit the back of my throat. And surprisingly enough, you know, we were thinking about going to Oregon, like driving up there, just a different change of scenery and being in nature out there. But then the wildfires hit. It was, from what we knew, it was only in California at that time. So we were like, okay, all the roads to Oregon might be closed or dangerous to go through, you know, rolling the dice if the roads were going to be open or closed. So we decided not to go. And then now to hear that they themselves right now are being affected, you know, my heart really goes out to them. I don't think anyone woke up today expecting this day to be literally gloomy. So I really hope you're all staying safe and sane, doing what you guys can do in store to, you know, maintain some mental wellness, you know, even though I know it's hard. It's good. I wish it was a little bit more spicier, because this was like spicy, advertised as a spicy bowl. But nothing wasabi and soy sauce cannot fix. Seaweed salad, I love this. Although I love it so much that I bought like a big container of seaweed salad, and then I realized too much of it was like, you know, overbearing. So a little bit goes a long way, y'all. I want to taste this one. I'm ready. See the liquid. Yeah, so it's like lemony-ish, vinegary-ish. The liquid with the cucumber. I might put some wasabi in this. It kind of tastes like rice vinegar. I really just want to dip this octopus in there. Octopus is pretty tender. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but in Tongan they call octopus feke. That's good. That's real good. Funny thing, speaking of the Tongan language, happy Tongan Language Week. Shout out to those who on social media using their platform to share the culture. I appreciate that. And what's interesting enough is, I want to talk about this in my other mukbangs, but I kind of wanted to, or my other videos sooner, but I kind of wanted to just let it simmer. You know, you want to sit on things, so you got to be careful when you're talking about, you know, ethnicities and culture and values and all that, because you don't want to offend anybody. That ice sparkling water is hitting right now. And so I wanted to discuss 90 Days Happily Ever After, Asuelu and Kalani. If y'all don't know, Asuelu is from Samoa and born and raised. He didn't migrate to the U.S. or immigrate to the U.S. until he was part of the show, because he was married Kalani, who is, I believe she identifies, her dad is definitely Samoan. I believe her mom identifies as white. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah. So she went on vacation, met him, got pregnant. I don't know if it's that soon, like it's not like right on vacation, but you know. So the controversy is Asuelu is out here in America, right? And he's working part-time, I think in like a yogurt shop. Kalani doesn't work because she's taking care of the two kids who are very young. The family help with their home expenses. I mean, her parents, I think she lives in the home her parents own. And so Asuelu's mom and his sister are out here too in a different state. They meet up in, I think, Washington or something. And there's a cultural clash in terms of Asuelu not sending enough money to his mom to send back to Samoa. Kalani's like, why do you have to send that much? We don't even have that. It's not even like, she's like, we don't even have that much money to send. Mom says some hurtful things. I'm not going to repeat it. Yeah, I think she said it out of anger. Or not. I don't know. Nobody knows. It's not even you though. It's TV editing. That's what we have to remember. A lot of things happen behind the scenes. I'm pretty sure all these people's lives, not every day they're fighting with their spouse or having drama that's so dramatic that they show on TV, right? That's why we like watching it. Because we get the constant drama. Or conflict. Whatever you want to call it. So anyways. What I want to say about this is, I would hate for that to be a generalized interpretation of the Polynesian culture. Now, I know a lot of Samoans, you know, some of my cousins are half Samoan, but I don't want to speak on those people. Just because I know them, don't mean I know the way. Just because Tongan and Samoans have a lot of commonalities, similarities, doesn't mean our culture is 100% the same. So I'm not going to speak on culture. I'm on the Samoan culture. I will speak on the Tongan culture in terms of what I know and how my perspective of things is. I don't want this to be a generalization of how all Polynesians family dynamics are, of having to send a ton of money home, back to the islands, meaning home, while struggling in the U.S. to, you know, make ends meet. We have big families, a lot of people to feed. With that being said, I used to have this mindset of, I still have family in the islands, my dad's side, my mom's side, and I was like, wow, we send big pujas boxes. They're like wooden boxes, 4 by 4 feet, of pounds and pounds of goods, like toilet paper, soap, dishwashing, like a lot of things that we take for granted, ramen noodles. And I used to grow up being like, why do we send this? Like, isn't it a cheap country? It's a poor, it's a, not a poor in the US eyes, a poor country. Shouldn't it be cheaper out there? The Tongan dollar, when you send US money, at least as of right now, it doubles in Tonga. So I'm like, you ballin', right? And that was my mindset. And it wasn't necessarily that I mind. I just, that I mind, of course, that's my parents' business. And, you know, I didn't grow up, you know, with a silver spoon. I didn't grow up even middle income. I grew up low income, right? And so I always was like, I don't understand what's going on, you know? You go up and you're like, okay, I'll start pitching in for all this stuff, cultural obligations. And it's not like we send all those boxes, you know, maybe we did it twice a year, maybe once a year, you know? And so in 2018, I believe, 3 years ago, my dad was going to Tonga for his second time since migrating in the US. My dad came to the US when he was about 21, maybe a little bit younger. Yeah, 21. And he didn't go back until I finished college, which was, he was 3 years ago. So he was 57. So 20 plus years not going back to the islands. He went back after I graduated college. It just happened to match up. I was happy because I got my first full-time big girl job and help, you know, pay for his ticket and, you know, his expenses. And it was a really interesting journey for him. I was really excited for him. And then he was going back for a second time to visit my grandma. So he skipped the summer. So back in 2018, he decided to go again. I don't know what compelled this, but me, my sister, and my brother have never taken an international trip, all three of us together. We just decided to buy a plane ticket and meet my dad there. He was gonna stay for a month. We couldn't stay that long, so we went towards the end of his trip, so that way we can all come back together. Went to see my grandmother. She was 96 at the time, and she's about to turn 98, 99 this year. Crazy blessed. But, so we went out there. It wasn't until I hit the islands, and not even the first day, because I was like, oh, grandma's house is pretty cute, you know? But after the second or third day I was there, I was like, I get it now. Everything clicks. Because it's expensive out there still for their money. That's why we sent all this stuff, because it was cheaper. You know, you have a lot of other foreigners that come and sell, you know, the goods, but you have to realize it's an island. So those people are also paying the part of the transportation cost by sea, by boat of those goods. So it's expensive out there. It's not like in the US where they just ship it, they can truck it and drive it over. So that's one thing that I failed to realize. It's an island. Everything's expensive and, you know, higher prices, and everybody's struggling to make it, or majority of folks. And then that's when I started becoming more empathetic about the situations out there, and I got it. And I think when I came back to the US, one, I appreciated my life here, but I was less questioning of like, dang, that's a lot. Like, I was like, you need it, you got it. Like, if I can give it to you, or you know, you got it, right? And believe me, my family in Tonga are very, very reasonable. I don't ever feel the need that I don't ever feel like they're taken advantage of, right? So I can speak from that perspective. It wasn't to the extreme that we saw in 90 days. And so I get it. So I think with that being said, right, I don't want 90 days to be this blanket narrative for all of us Polynesian folks, but I also want us American-born Polynesians to tread very lightly on this topic of what we say. Is because when we openly criticize or laugh, or, you know, about other people in our culture, that opens the door for other people, non-Pacific Islanders, to then come I'd be like, oh cool, we doing that, we making fun of them, let's go, right? And then we open these gates of, hey, we can only talk, you can only make judgments on this topic, but what about if we talk about another Pacific Islander topic, and, you know, other non-Pacific Islanders, you know, bring their 2 cents into it, which is fine. But then you're like, no, you can't say that. But then they're like, wait, you let me laugh about 90 days and you agreed with me, but all of a sudden now, you know, you picking and choosing what I can comment on. And that's why I say you just want to be very careful of what your intentions are. I get it, not all families are like that, but as PI, we still have to protect our PR community and our PR culture in a respectful way. So like in 90 days, you know, we all don't know what's really going on unless you are those people in the show. A lot of this could be edited. So this could be edited in the sense of, you know, making it look worse than what it is, or making the situations become more dramatic. They could have had a whole other argument about something else, and then, you know, they cut off the clip, and then, you know, they shoot and only film what the mom says of like, I don't care about the children, right? There could have been a lot of conversation and a lot of heatedness in that. And I think as a culture, you know, the mom, her language is not, her first tongue is not English, right? So then the impact or the power of the words is different in a different language versus in English, right? Because there's different cultures and different expressions, different idioms, you know, a lot of different things. So I don't know, this is more for like my local USA, and there is America Samoa, so I just want to, you know, say that. But I mean, like in the United States right now, America, tread very lightly on how we treat the situation, because it could be an effect of people using this as blanket ways to judge our people, and this can use as an opening of like, oh, it's cool, we can get down and we can talk about that culture, when you're like, no, not like that, you know. And so yeah, that's just kind of like my thoughts on it. I'm not going to speak too much about the actual show, because like I said, I'm not Samoan, don't want to speak for them. This poke is good. Haven't had rice in a couple of days, so you know your girl's enjoying this rice. Now, I was very surprised by, you know, the conversations and all that happening on 90 days between these families and the sister-in-law and the mother-in-law of Asuelu and Kalani. But for me, it was more of, there's a lot of cultural difference that we might not be seeing on camera, and I just want to point that out. You know, I feel like I'm kind of talking in circles, but kind of not. I guess what I was trying to say too was like, you have non-Pacific Islander folks, or even just island folks, like and you saying, oh, we can talk about, oh yeah, your family in back at home might be greedy or asking for so much money, right? And you guys can chuckle about that, and you'd be like, no, that's not true, right? But then let's talk about, oh, if somebody says, makes a blanket statement like, oh yeah, Pacific Islanders can only be sports players, that's all they're good at. Those same people could be thinking, oh, I can comment on that too, right? Because you let me comment on the cultural and people back in the islands being greedy and using that general blanket statement. So I should be able to comment about this too. It's like, no, that's not how it works. So you just want to be very careful of how you do things. And in this time of chaos and all that, and you know, all of us are being stuck at home, don't let TV be your only reality, y'all. Well, thank you for joining YouTube University of my thoughts and opinion about TV productions. This actually made me feel a little bit better. I was feeling a little funky because of the weather, not seeing the sun, It's even darker now because the sun's actually setting. Or the light that was trying to peek through the smoke. But yes, Honey, my meditating skeleton, is here to remind y'all to give yourself some grace. Hopefully you find some peace. Meditate, pray, whatever helps you through the day. But we are signing out with this poke mukbang, and I will see y'all again. Oh, side note, don't forget to check out my other channel, Vitality. I ordered something this week. I'm super it arrives next week, so I'm super excited to show y'all what I ordered next week once it arrives, and I'll air it on my channel. Peace and love, y'all.